UFC 310, the last card of the year is coming up and the prelims look absolutely stacked and promising. Let us talk about the prelims. I'll tell you why they are so stacked in this video. Hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA.
Salam alaikum to everyone.
Normally with UFC pay-per-views, the main card is always the special thing about the whole event, and the prelims are okay, they're better than fight night prelims, but they're normally not really stacked and not too much name value there. But this time it's very different. At UFC 310, the main card is a little bit lackluster in my opinion for the last card of the year, because historically the last card of the year is always one of the biggest cards, let's say like that. They always try to make it as big as possible.
It's so big.
But this year the main card is really, it's okay, right? But let's get into the prelims. I mean, the early prelims start with Kennedy and Sechuku against Lucas Brisky. Yes, I know, though they don't have the best records, they are not the title contenders, but this fight is a guaranteed knockout, trust me. And no, there's nothing I love more than to start the night off with a knockout. The next fight, you have Clay Guida, an absolute legend, a Hall of Famer, fighting Hoopy, Chase Hooper, a up-and-coming star. When he came into the UFC, I think he was the youngest guy in UFC history before Raul Rosas came into the game. Of course, it's a mismatch in my opinion. I think it's a horrible matchup for Clay Guida. Chase Hooper will absolutely smash him. He also defeated him at Flow Grappling before, or UFC Fight Pass Grappling, whatever. So yeah, it's a weird matchup, but it's for the prelims, high-value names. Then you have Michael Chiesa against Max Griffin. Michael Chiesa just defeated Tony Ferguson with a submission, made him tap. The first guy actually to make Tony tap before he always just went to sleep. So Chiesa's a UFC legend, right? He was in the top 10 forever. And Max Payne Griffin, is called Payne for a reason. He always brings fun fights. Also a legend amongst real UFC fans, right? It's been there forever. And those are two high-value names for hardcore MMA fans, not for the casuals, but to have those two fight each other on the early prelims is very special. Then Cody Durden, Joshua Wan. I know if you're casually watching this, you're probably like, who the fuck are those guys, yeah? But they might not have the most name value, but they always deliver very, very exciting fights, and that's what we all tune in for. We tune in for exciting fights. No matter if you know the guys or not, you want exciting fights, and that's gonna be an exciting flyweight fight. They go after each other, those two guys, right? And then the main event of the early prelims, Chris Weidman, former UFC middleweight champion, absolute freaking legend, that fights Eric Anders there, who's a journeyman, but he's also been in the UFC forever, and both guys might or probably will retire after that fight. So that's a very special fight as well, because we might see two veterans, I want to say legends, but Eric Anders isn't a legend, but two veterans and one legend retire that night, and that should be a fun fight too. Chris Weidman on the early prelims is very special. Then the normal prelims. This is ridiculous.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
The normal prelims start off with Randy Rootboy Brown against Brian Pooh Bear / The Butcher Battle. I mean, Brian Battle is a guy that should be headlining fight nights at the moment. And Randy Rootboy Brown is a guy that should co-main event fight nights at the moment, or be on the main card of pay-per-views in my opinion. They're both on winning streaks, they're both having phenomenal performances recently, and Brian Battle is making a lot of headlines. Brian Battle is getting all the attention right now, and he opens up the prelims. That's insane. After that, it gets even crazier. You have a potential #1 contender fight at featherweight that is the second fight of the prelims. Just let that go through your head. Movsar Evloev, undefeated guy. What is he? 18-0, undefeated. Fights Aljamain Sterling, former UFC bantamweight champion. Since he lost to Sean O'Malley, he had one fight against Calvin Kattar that he won in not the most interesting, but in dominant fashion. So this is, in my opinion, #1 contender fight for the featherweight title. Of course, there's also Diego Lopez against Emmett. That's also #1 contender fight, but you get what I'm saying. Those are title implications on the line, and that's on the freaking prelims. The second, not even the main fight of the prelims, the second fight of the prelims. Aljamain Sterling against Movsar Evloev. Absolutely insane. After that, you have Vicente Luque against Themba Gorimbo, right? Those two guys, I mean, Vicente Luque is more of on the downward spiral right now, whilst Gorimbo is on the upward spiral, but it's still a pretty, I wouldn't say that's a main fight, like a main event for a fight night, but it's definitely a fight that you normally would not have. At least on fight nights, that would be probably co-main event. And on every other pay-per-view, I think that would be a pay-per-view opener, because Vicente Luque is a big name. He headlined a lot of fight nights and fought the who's who of the division. And Themba Gorimbo is on the come up and has a huge following because of all his videos with The Rock and stuff and his whole backstory, right? Which is a crazy backstory. They are not too wrong where they are on the card, but still having them on the prelims is pretty damn nice. And then the main event of the prelims is former UFC light heavyweight title challenger Dominic Reyes fighting former UFC light heavyweight title challenger Anthony Lionheart Smith. Two guys that are well known in the MMA community. Of course, they don't have the best streak ever in their career, as of late at least, but they are two very well-known guys with high name value. Both fought for the title before, and they are on the prelims. On normal cards, those two guys will not be on the prelims in a normal scenario. But I think those two guys are in the right place there, because the main event of the prelims, the last fight of the prelims, is always a little bit more special fight. But still, that's ridiculous. You see the name value you have there on the prelims, that's just insane. I think it's kind of weird that Nate Lambert against Duo Choi is the opener of the main card. I would rather put Aljo and Movsar there and change that, but hey. Or also Bryce Mitchell, Kron Gracie. I mean, no one knows why Kron Gracie even gets a fight again in the UFC and gets a fight upwards. Like, Kron Gracie literally fights what is Bryce Mitchell, number 10 ranked or something? He fights a guy that is ranked. Kron Gracie is not ranked. Kron Gracie has like 1 win in the UFC or something. And he fights a ranked guy that literally lost to 2 people only, Bryce Mitchell. He lost to Ilya Topuria and to Josh Emmett. Emmett on short notice. So, I mean, how do you get that matchup? Of course, he's called Gracie. That's a big plus for him, but still, that's ridiculous in my opinion. And of course, because of Bryce Mitchell on the main card, but still, they should be in the prelims, just because of Kron Gracie. But anyways, yeah, the card otherwise is nice. Volkov Sigilgan too, that's a good fight. Shafkat against the Cock, that's obviously an amazing fight that I look forward to see. The main event is kind of lackluster just because the name value is not really there, because Pantoja is not the most beloved champion because he doesn't really finish fights as a champion, and Kaya Sakura is just not that well known in the Western MMA world, right? But could be a fun main event, could be an upset as well, and I will definitely be very hyped to tune in Saturday night for UFC 310, the last pay-per-view of 2025. We only have 2 cards left, this pay-per-view and then the fight night Tampa in Florida, I believe, which is Colby Covington against Joaquin Buckley. So enjoy the last 2 events of 2025. What is your opinion about the prelims, guys? Do you think those are the best prelims of the year? Write it in the comments. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate that. Check out the Bloodsport merch, bloodshop.net. Exclusive, cool, special Bloodsport merch, not the average merch that you see from average YouTubers. So check it out. We're about free shipping as well with the code free, good quality. Stay bloody, you guys. Until the next one. Bye-bye. Bloodsport out.